You know that friend who's always in crisis the moment you try to celebrate something good? The one who smiles like a saint, but somehow leaves you wondering if you ever really get to have your own moment? Yeah, that friend. Or maybe it's a coworker, a partner, or even a family member who seems too nice to be true until you realize their kindness is less about you and more about quietly steering your life for them. Here is the thing nobody tells you: nice people often don't need to yell, push, or demand to control you. They use guilt, helplessness, and emotional labor like secret weapons. It's a slow, almost invisible pull. You don't notice until you're tangled so deep you forget where your choices even began. Today we're diving into the strange world of subtle psychological control, where nice is the mask for invisible manipulation. Because here's a wild truth: sometimes the people who seem the kindest have learned to rule your decisions without you even realizing it. And what if it's not even conscious? Let's unpack this. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's that friend who always calls just when you're about to eat, breathe, or think about yourself. Last week I told her I got a promotion. A big deal, right? Instead of congratulating me, she launched into a story about her emergency with her landlord, which somehow spiraled into her feeling abandoned by everyone around her. Do you know how that feels? Like your good news is instantly swallowed by someone else's crisis. You want to step back, but somehow you end up comforting her, rearranging your plans, and putting your excitement on hold. It's exhausting and weirdly familiar. What's going on here isn't just bad timing. It's a quiet strategy, call it emotional quicksand. The more you try to pull away, try to set healthy boundaries, the deeper you sink into their drama. You struggle to help, but they don't want help as much as they want control. It's a trap dressed up in concern and kindness. Now, here's the part that trips most people up. Nice manipulation isn't usually about villainy or deliberate scheming. Studies on covert narcissism, and yes, that sneaky, less obvious cousin of full-blown narcissism, show that many nice manipulators learned this behavior young. Maybe it was a way to survive in a chaotic family. Maybe it was the only way to feel seen or safe. This isn't about evil masterminds. It's about deeply ingrained survival tactics. So when Sarah pulls you into her emotional storm, she might not even realize she's doing it to control the situation. She's learned that making others responsible for her feelings keeps her afloat, at least temporarily. Think of it like emotional quicksand. The more you fight not to get trapped in their crisis, the more you struggle, pulling yourself under even further. It's not just emotional labor, it's your energy being drained while they stay comfortably stuck in victim mode. Psychologists have noted this pattern in research on emotional labor imbalances. Emotional labor means the invisible work we do to manage our own feelings and other people's. When one person constantly offloads their emotional weight onto another, it creates a power imbalance disguised as kindness. Imagine a puppet show. The nice person holds the strings, but instead of using brute force, they tug gently. You don't even realize you're moving until you're dancing to their tune. This is why boundaries feel so complicated with these people. Saying no feels like you're abandoning them, breaking a sacred social contract. But here's the secret: that contract, it was never fair to begin with. Therapists often say the hardest part is naming the manipulation, especially when it comes cloaked in sweetness. We want to believe people are just nice or needy, not subtle emotional puppeteers. But understanding the why behind this behavior helps us stop blaming ourselves. It's not weakness to feel trapped. And it's what happens when kindness becomes a tool for control rather than connection. Let's return to our metaphor. Emotional quicksand isn't deadly, but you have to stop struggling the wrong way. Instead of pushing against the pull, you learn to slowly lift your feet, meet the person where they are, and gently pull away. It takes awareness and patience, and sometimes a little distance. The tricky part: the people who do this often don't want to hurt you. They want safety, attention, or just to avoid feeling abandoned. Their nice behavior is a survival strategy gone sideways. That's what makes this so confusing and uncomfortably familiar. You might be thinking, so if they don't know, does that make it okay? Not really. Unconscious manipulation still robs you of your autonomy, but recognizing this pattern changes the game. It's the first step toward reclaiming your choices without turning into the villain. In fact, some scholars argue that covert narcissism and unconscious emotional manipulation blur the line between victim and perpetrator. Both sides are trapped in a cycle of need and control, guilt and compliance. It's dark, complicated, and rarely black or white, and that's exactly why we don't talk about it openly. It's easier to call someone too nice than to unravel the messy layers underneath. Harry's, what nobody tells you about letting nice people quietly control your choices. It's not about weakness or being too kind. It's about a hidden dance of emotional labor, guilt, and unspoken expectations you didn't even agree to. If you find yourself stuck in this pattern, it's not your fault. You're not broken. You're just caught in someone else's survival script and maybe your own old habits too. Awareness is your secret weapon. You don't have to cut people off or declare war. You just need to notice the puppet strings and sometimes gently step back before you start dancing. So next time nice feels like a trap, remember, kindness shouldn't cost you your freedom. And learning to say no, that's not betrayal. It's self-rescue. Stay kind, but kind to yourself first. Because here's the unhinged truth. Sometimes the people who seem the nicest are the hardest to say no to. But your choices, your life, are yours to reclaim. And that's a revolution worth starting quietly.